Okay, so take a look at this. This is Form 1040-NR. Now, it looks like a tax form, right? But I want you to think of it more like a logic puzzle. And today, we're going to give you the two keys you need to solve it. Let's be real. If you're a non-resident, trying to figure out US taxes can feel, well, intentionally complicated. It's this maze of rules and exceptions and forms that honestly seem designed to confuse you. But here's the thing, it's not impossible. So in this explainer, we're not just going to read instructions, we're going to give you the actual analytical framework to solve the whole thing. And it all boils down to just two fundamental questions. Once you get those, I promise, the entire logic of the 1040NR and all the other forms, it just snaps right into place. All right, let's get into it. The very first key. You see, your entire US tax journey, it doesn't start with numbers or dollars and cents. It starts with a single question of identity. Who are you to the IRS? So the IRS basically splits the entire world of non-citizens into two buckets, resident alien and non-resident alien. And this one distinction, it changes everything. If you're a resident alien, guess what? The US wants to tax your income from everywhere on the planet. But if you're a non-resident alien, the focus gets super narrow, looking only at your income that comes from US sources. Okay, but how do they figure this out? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. If you don't have a green card, it's not about what you intend to do. It's all about a very specific mathematical formula. They actually use this weighted average of your time in the US over the last 3 years. And if you hit that magic number, 183 weighted days, boom, the IRS considers you a US resident for tax purposes. Doesn't matter what your visa says. But what if your status changes mid-year? Yeah, the system has a rule for that too. In the year you either arrive in or leave the US, you can actually be what's called a dual status alien. And that means you have to follow two completely different sets of rules for a single tax year. Fun, right? Okay, so that's the first key. Now let's move on to the second one, and you'll see how this all builds. Once you've figured out who you are to the IRS, the next big question is about your money. Specifically, what is your income's relationship to the US economy? And this table just illustrates the core mechanism perfectly. The IRS literally creates two separate worlds for your US income. On one side, you've got income you actively earn from a US business or job. They call that effectively connected income, or ECI. That gets taxed at the same graduated rates as a US citizen, and yep, you can take deductions. But then there's this whole other world for passive income, like dividends or interest. That's not effectively connected, or NCI, and it gets hit with a flat 30% tax, no deductions allowed. So you see, two types of income, two completely different tax systems. So there you have it. Those are the two keys, your status and your income type. Now that we have that framework, let's use it to unlock the practical side of things. You know, actually filing the paperwork. All right, so who actually has to file a Form 1040NR? This is probably the most common question we see, and the answer? It's not always what you'd think. It's not just about whether you owe money. The rules are super specific. Now you'll see a few triggers listed here, but the big one, the most important one, is that first one. If you were engaged in a trade or business in the US, and that basically means any activity for profit, like working or running a business, you have to file, period. And here's the really critical insight. The rule isn't about earning income. Just the act of engaging in that business activity is what triggers the filing requirement. That tells you the IRS is way more focused on your economic connection to the US, not just whether you made a profit. But filing isn't always about owing money. Check this out. This is a fantastic, actionable insight straight from the IRS instructions. Filing isn't just about paying taxes. It's the only way you can claim a refund. So if too much tax was withheld from your income, and trust me, with that flat 30% rate, it happens a lot, the only way to get that money back in your pocket is to file a 1040NR. Okay, so now you know if you need to file. So what's next? Let's look at the actual tools, the forms that the IRS gives you. And as we go through them, you're going to see how each and every one ties right back to those two keys we talked about. First up, the W-8BEN. The best way to think of this is as your proactive shield. It's your first line of defense. Now, this is not a tax return you send to the IRS. It's the form you give to the company that's paying you. It's how you officially declare your foreign status. That's key number one, remember? So they can hopefully withhold the right amount of tax from the very beginning. All right, next up is the main event, the Form 1040-NR itself. This is the big one, and it's built specifically for that first world of income we talked about, your effectively connected income. This is where you report your active earnings, where you get to claim deductions, and where you calculate your tax using those normal graduated rates. But what about that other world of income, that passive stuff? Well, that's what Schedule NEC is for. Think of it as an add-on, a schedule that attaches right to your main return. It's the dedicated space for handling all that not effectively connected income and applying that flat 30% tax. And finally, we have Schedule OI. I like to think of this as your tax ID card, or maybe even better, your evidence locker. It's mandatory, you can't skip it. And this is where you provide all the nitty-gritty details. Your visa info, the exact days you were in the US, all the proof the IRS needs to verify that you got your non-resident status right in the first place. Now let's be totally clear about something. This is not a walk in the park. The IRS itself, this is their own estimate, says the average time it takes a taxpayer to understand the rules and file a 1040-NR is 12 hours. That's a huge commitment. So look, the system is complex. Yes, absolutely. But it's not random. The goal here isn't for you to memorize every single rule. That's impossible. The real goal is to internalize the logic. Because once you really understand the why, once you grasp those two keys of status and income, you'll have the framework you need to solve your own piece of this puzzle.